This is Abnormal Entertainment.
Welcome everybody to the Cinema Head Cheese Podshort for my next guest needs no introduction, Barack Obama. This is Kevin Moyers, and I was very excited to see that David Letterman was coming back to television. He was gone for a while from CBS. Colbert took over, couple years ago now. Few years, he might be 3 or 4 at this point, but Letterman kind of went off for a while, decided to take it easy, and then, as he put it in the show, he had to get out of the damn house. So he's grown his hair's gone white, cut it short. He's grown this long white Santa Claus beard. It's not quite Santa Claus, but it's about as long as I had mine for a bit at one point, which is a little maybe 6 inches off the chin, but it's he's clean. He's not it's not like haggard and crazy looking, but it's a different guy we're looking at now, and he's on a stage in a theater. It looks like a college. I believe it is a college, actually. And there are just 2 chairs. And he talks for a minute. Not quite a monologue. It's not doing, topical stuff, but he talks a little bit about what he's doing and gives you an idea where he's been and that he wasn't sure what the show was going to be, but he made his decisions on it. And he wants to talk to people he admires on some level or another. So his first guest was Barack Obama. And now this is going to be a monthly show. He has all the names up there. I know Clooney's the second episode. Howard Stern's in there. Tina Fey is in there. I'm trying to think of who else. I think there are 6 total. But yeah, he brings out Barack Obama for his first episode. And they sit. And they talk, and they have just a conversation about things. And it's a more serious Letterman. He's not super jokey. I mean, he's still funny. I mean, he's conversationally funny, but he's not pushing for the joke. If it happens, it happens, which is nice. And he talks about some serious stuff, too. And, they're talking about their kids. And, and Obama's funny, too. I mean, he always has been. And he's always been conversationally funny as well as being able to sell a joke like he always did at the correspondence dinners. It was really good and really interesting. And, they talked about what's going on right now, all the craziness, the pumped up racism. And then during the conversation, the show cuts away to different things. In part of the conversation, Letterman talks about meeting with John Lewis, the representative who spent a lot of time with Martin Luther King and marched on the bridge in Selma, which is pretty crazy. I mean, it's an intense piece of history, really. If you want to talk about racism, it's the Edmund Pettus Bridge. The guy was a senator in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and he also happened to be the Grand Dragon of the Alabama Klan. So, yeah, they named it after him in 1940 when they built it. 1940! They're still naming shit after Klansman. Well, he was a senator. He was a fucking scumbag. Bullshit. So in 65, when they went to march to the Capitol across that bridge, cops tear gassed him, beat him with billy clubs, all of that. Lewis was there for these marches. So Letterman went there with him and walked across the bridge with him and got a first-hand history lesson. It was really not what I expected from Letterman at all. You expect an interview show. I mean, you remember his interviews on Late Night or, The Late Show. And this was not the same. It was so much better. It's long form, so you get time to breathe and talk. You don't have to cram the shit into 4 minutes. And honestly, now that we're in a world of podcasting where people can just talk and let it out and have a conversation, it's that same type of attitude. Plus the segments, which, is what a late night talk show did. They did segments, but they're not, he's not throwing watermelons off the roof. He's not, watching stupid human tricks. He really went out there to Selma, and we saw where this stuff happened. He talked to Lewis about it. It was really a great, interesting piece of television. I'm going to watch it again. It really was fascinating to me, and I'm looking forward to more. I don't know what he'll talk about with Clooney, as there's a lot of activism in Clooney's life, and he and his wife do that. So I'm not sure how that's going to go, but I'm sure, they're all filmed as far as I'm aware, but I don't know, with them coming out once a month, maybe he's only a month ahead so that they have the preview. That would keep things topical, but who knows? I just think it's a different look at Letterman the person than Letterman the personality, which is something we haven't really had before. And I enjoyed the conversation with Obama, what he did with Lewis, but I was really intently focused on Letterman throughout because I've never seen this guy, this version. You see bits of it. You see moments. Like there was one great moment where it was the last time Trump was ever on his show, and he goes, I'm just not going to have him here anymore. Because you know why? Because he's racist, and I don't like that. And Schaefer's like, yeah. It was awesome. But you got more of those moments as he got older. But this is one big one of those, and it's worth your time. Definitely worthwhile. And again, I'm looking forward to the next episode. And I might do a review for each episode as they come out. I don't know if that's necessary. But the first one with Obama is really great. And it does deserve a second watch for me, a second viewing. So anyway, I do appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, I will ask you to head over to bunny17media.com and check out all of the books over there. If you use the code CHC, you get 15% off, and that's good for us. That's good for us when you do that, because we make more off of our website than we do from Amazon. You can buy the books on Amazon. You can get everything there, the ebooks too. That's fine. I'm not mad at you for doing that. But we do make more if you buy it through the website. That's all. So either way, whatever works for you, do what you got to do. I just want you to read the stuff. That's what's most important to me. So the money part, if I cared about the money, I wouldn't still be doing this stuff. It's being heard, having this stuff out there, entertaining people. That's what matters to me. So you think I make a penny off of these podcasts? You are bananas. Because in the last almost 7 years we've been doing this stuff, not a dime. No, almost 8 years. So, yeah, we don't make shit. But that's why I'm asking you. If you've been listening all this time, go buy a book. Go buy a book. You obviously like this. You like what I have to say. Great. Awesome. I'm appreciative. Get a book. I've given you a lot of free content. Support us a little bit. You know, it's not much money. And you'll have a good time reading it. Again, if you like this, why wouldn't you like that, right? So there you go. Also, since we're talking about history a little bit, I want to share a little piece of my personal history right here. This past Friday, January 19th, my grandfather passed. And it's relevant to Cinema Head Cheese in that, and really the podcast in general, because he did listen. He loved listening to Raise Your Spirits. Thought Cam was hilarious. And he wasn't wrong. But Jeff and Dave and I, when we made our first movie together, this is a movie called Blown. And Dave had written it. It was about a killer blow-up doll who was possessed by a voodoo priestess who wanted to get revenge on her noisy neighbors, basically, and wanted to slaughter them during a bachelor party. So I talked to my grandfather about this movie. His name was Dan Urbach, by the way, and talked to him about it. And he said, well, if you need a distinguished older gentleman in the movie, let me know. And I said, okay. And I told Dave, and he's like, that's a great idea. So, as Dave called him, international superstar Dan Urbach was in his very first movie scene with me in my very first movie scene. And it's one of my favorite memories ever. We later we're in a movie called Sport Kill, and it was this like underground murder gambling ring, and they needed patrons, and my grandfather was one of the patrons and had a line or two in that. So, you know, we were in two movies together in the same scene together both times. And you can actually, if you go to the Abnormal Entertainment YouTube channel, you can watch Blown in its entirety. And when you get to the adult bookstore, which is not very far into the movie, there is an older gentleman, that is Dan Urbach. And then there is me in a bad wig. And we're the two guys that run the adult bookstore where the band of doofuses, which includes Dave Hayes, are going to purchase supplies for the bachelor party for the main character, who's played by Jeff Dolniak. So, yeah, it's an important part of my history, and it's a terrible movie. It's a terrible movie with some fun parts in it. I'm not gonna lie, but if you just go to the watch the beginning, because my grandpa stole the show. Anytime anybody's watched that movie, he's the guy they mention. That old guy was hilarious. Yep, he was. He really was. We rehearsed. He was it's like, come over, we'll rehearse the scenes. I'm like, all right, cool, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. He had done some acting when he was younger and on stage and stuff. And yeah, it was a sad day when it happened, and we're gonna miss him a lot. So, thank you for letting me share that with you, because he's very important to me. And to all of us here at Cinema Head Cheese, honestly. Everybody loved him. And, for good reason. So, yeah. But, anyway. Thanks again for listening. I do appreciate it. As always, head to abnormalentertainment.com for more podcasts. Head to cinemaheadcheese.com for all of our reviews there. And we will see you next time. Subscribe and download back episodes of Cinema Head Cheese the podcast, and read all of our movie reviews and news at cinemaheadcheese.com. Email us at cinemaheadcheese@yahoo.com. Search Cinema Head Cheese on Facebook and tweet us at CINHeadCheese. And for more podcasts, books, comics, blogs, and videos, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.